Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I want to share something pretty personal. It is about family, tough times, and finally breaking free. So let me tell you about my dad. Growing up, he was never what you would call a good father. Abusive is putting it mildly. Even when I was just a kid, he would try to poison my relationship with my mom. It seemed like pure jealousy because mom and I were always close. Things took a serious nosedive when he learned I was gay. The hitting, the constant stream of insults, it ramped up considerably. It was a rough time. I finally managed to get out of there when I was maybe 21 or 22. And you know what? Life got so much better once I was free. I put myself through college down in Austin, Texas, landed a teaching job I loved, and even got my own little apartment near Zilker Park. Fixing it up piece by piece, making it my own sanctuary felt amazing. It was everything I had hoped for. While I was building my life, my dad basically sold off everything he owned. My sister, Sarah, told me he started living this weird, nomadic life, just bouncing between motels all over the country. I only heard bits and pieces about him through her. Then when I was hitting my late 20s, the whole world turned upside down with the pandemic. Like a lot of people, I lost my teaching position. Suddenly I could not make rent on my Austin place and I got evicted. Around the same time, those motels dad was staying in shut down. He ended up having to rent a bare-bones house somewhere in a small town, maybe Springfield, Illinois, but he had zero furniture. Sarah mentioned he was literally sleeping on an air mattress on the floor. I was completely out of options. So swallowing my pride, I reached out to him. I proposed a deal. Look, I had all this furniture, beds, a couch, a refrigerator, a stove, kitchen stuff, but nowhere to put it. He had this empty house. We could pool our resources. I explained that the emergency government checks I was getting meant I would not be a financial drain. I could cover my own food and personal costs. Essentially, I offered him the use of all my stuff if he let me stay in a room without charging rent. He actually said yes. Living with him during that pandemic year, it was pure hell. He's one of those stubborn old guys completely against vaccines, thought the whole thing was a hoax. He took zero precautions. No masks, no keeping distance, he barely even showered. Meanwhile, I have asthma and I was a nervous wreck the entire time, constantly worried his carelessness would literally kill me. He even threw it in my face once, threatened to deliberately expose me to the virus just to prove it was not dangerous. On top of that, he confined me to my room for about 22 hours a day. I basically only came out to quickly cook my meals. And get this, he banned me from using the main bathroom in the house. His reason, he said, and I quote, "I do not want you contaminating it with AIDS. For the record, I am HIV negative. He just could not stand that I am gay." When the emergency money ran out, things got tighter. I was scrambling, doing odd online jobs, applying for things like food assistance, SNAP benefits. My mom, who had actually left him years ago right alongside me and had always been supportive, started looking for work too. That was incredibly tough for her because she has disabilities that make regular employment really difficult. Finding jobs in that little Springfield town was brutal for both of us. So we were stuck there living with my dad. Our situation shifted again after a while. He inevitably got into some argument with the landlord of that first house, so we had to pack up and move to another rental across town. Still the same terrible dynamic though. I was still using a bucket in my room because the bathroom ban was still in effect. But then finally a breakthrough. I landed a steady job. It was just minimum wage at a local hardware store, but it was consistent income. I wanted out of that house immediately. Pack my bags, take mom, and never look back. But mom, she has a soft heart. She pleaded with me. He is 79 years old, she argued. He cannot manage completely on his own. And he did let us stay here during the worst of the pandemic. We owe him something. So I agreed to stay, but on new terms. I went to my dad and laid it out. From now on, we split all household expenses right down the middle 50-50. This way I was not just some charity case, I was an equal contributor. That meant I had rights. I could use the bathroom like a normal human being, and the yelling, the insults, the threats, all of it had to stop. He grumbled, but he agreed. Now, before I get to the final straw, you need a little background. Alcoholism is a big problem on my dad's side of the family. I have personally been sober for over 12 years now, which I am really proud of. My dad, though, he flat out refuses to quit drinking. Okay, so maybe 2 weeks after we made this new 50-50 deal, around lunchtime, the toilet broke. The handle just stopped flushing. Now our landlord, Mr. Henderson, had been crystal clear when we signed the lease. Anything breaks, you call him. He has a guy, Mike, who does all the repairs, specifically to make sure things do not get messed up worse. But my dad, who had been hitting the bottle since breakfast, decided he was a master plumber. I told him, "Dad, just call Mr. Henderson like he asked." But no, he insisted he could fix it. Hours went by. He fiddled with it, banged on it, swore at it, and only managed to make the leak worse. Finally, defeated, he agreed to call the landlord. So Mr. Henderson shows up with Mike the handyman. By this point, my dad is furious and completely sloshed. He immediately starts picking a fight with Mike, yelling about how incompetent he is. I stepped in, tried to calm my dad down because the last thing we needed was to get kicked out of this place too. He saw my intervention as me challenging his authority. Right there in front of my mom, Mr. Henderson, and Mike the handyman, he explodes. He tells me to get out of his house, screaming about how tired he is of my disrespect, how I always undermine him. He even raised his hand like he was going to slap me. Something snapped in me. I did not beg, I did not shrink away, I did not do whatever pathetic reaction he was expecting. I just looked him straight in the eye and said, clear as day, I will be out of your house by the end of the week. Then I turned immediately to Mr. Henderson, who looked incredibly awkward witnessing this whole meltdown, and asked, Mr. Henderson, I can afford about $800 a month. Do you happen to have any studio apartments available in that range? He looked surprised but relieved to change the subject. Actually, yes, I think I do, he said. Without even asking to see it, I said, I will take it. The next few days were interesting. I started packing, methodically. That is when my dad seemed to realize what he had done. He saw me boxing up pots and pans, taking apart the bed frames, wrapping the microwave. What are you doing? He demanded. Packing my things, I replied calmly. But I need that, he sputtered. That is not my problem anymore, I told him. First, he tried changing his tune. Suddenly, he had forgiven me, said I did not really have to leave. I just kept packing and said, oh, I am leaving. Then he tried to claim all the furniture and appliances were his. He actually called the police, told them I was stealing from him. What he did not count on was my obsessive need to keep records. I still had the receipts for everything, the refrigerator, the stove, the beds, the couch, all purchased years before I ever moved back in with him. Plus, Mom was right there to back me up, confirming everything belonged to me. When the police saw the proof, they told him there was nothing they could do. After that failed, he tried guilt trips, calling up relatives, telling them I was cruelly abandoning him in his old age. I just told anyone who asked the simple truth. He kicked me out. I am just respecting his wishes. By Friday, I was gone, and I took every single stick of my furniture and every one of my appliances with me. The refrigerator, mine. The stove, mine. The comfortable mattress he had been sleeping on, definitely mine. I did not even need it all for the little studio apartment I rented, which Mom moved into with me since she's disabled and I am her primary caregiver now. Honestly, the new place was too small. I ended up selling more than half the furniture online. But the point was, he was not going to have any of it. That specific mattress he used, no way was I letting my mom or anyone sleep on that thing again after him. That went straight to the dump. He went right back to sleeping on an air mattress on the cold floor. And maybe I should feel bad, but I do not. Knowing he is living with the direct consequences of his actions, it gives me a deep sense of satisfaction. Immense pleasure, actually. So anyway, it has been about 6 months since I cut off all contact. I have no clue how he is really doing day to day. I did hear through the grapevine, though, that he recently got into some conflict with Mr. Henderson's son-in-law and is apparently on the verge of being evicted again. Fingers crossed he ends up figuring things out or not. As for me, I am 31 now, and honestly, I am living my best life without his toxicity. Even Mom is doing much better, although right after we moved out, she did say she thought I was being too cruel to him. She is coming around, though. She sees how much healthier we both are now. So that is my story. Thanks for letting me share it.